Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon. Today we're going to be taking a look at Monsterlands. This is not a new game by any stretch of the means, but Tom Vassell mentioned this game as one of his favorite dice placement, which is similar to worker placement, but you actually have dice that you place out, and a lot of times you're rolling them. So there's a little bit of luck involved. But he featured this on his top 10 dice placement games, and it does have a solo mode, and it just seemed like a really fun, unique game. So I have picked this copy up. Like I said, this is not a new game by any stretch of the means, so I'm not going to do an unboxing or anything like that, but I did want to quickly show you how I've decided to store the game. Simply because there is a lot of cardboard components in this game, a lot of tokens and things to keep up with. So before we get into how to set up and play Monsterlands solo, let's take a look at the two things that I have utilized to keep the game organized. So here's the instruction manual and the board, which sit on top. And then I have these kind of two boxes here. This is a standard Plano box. I don't remember the number off the top of my head, but I can easily look it up. This is a pretty standard one that you can find on Amazon. I pick mine up personally at Walmart because they're cheaper there, but Amazon, all your fishing supply stores should have this standard Plano box. And then this was also found at Walmart, and this was in their craft section. I'm going to try and find this online and leave a link to it. But what's really unique about this is it's like the size of a pencil box, but you can see that it's got this separate compartment up here, which keeps my mercenary tiles separate from my dice. And so when I'm getting ready to play, I open this up, I pull all these out because I keep them stacked up neatly off to the side so you can find them easily. But then I just pull my dice out of here each round and then return them to this each round. And this sits nicely over here in this side alongside the cards and the bag of mission tiles. So I've kept this in place, which came with the box and this, and then this sits over here. So I have my Plano box, which you might notice does not quite fit into this section down here, but I'm actually okay with that because this sits up higher than this part right here. So when I leave this kind of dangling up here, these actually sit on all the same plane, which creates a nice flat surface for the board to sit on. Underneath this simply rests the player boards and these longer boards, which sit nice and neatly next to them. But let's just take a look at these Plano boxes here. I don't understand why people continue to throw stuff in baggies when a setup like this can make life so much easier for you. So I have my kind of glory, reputation, timer, and initial trap tokens in here. So I just reach in here, pull out what I need. I have my trick and special traps up here. I pretty much don't touch those. I don't play with that module. And so all my traps, regular traps, are right here. I can pull them out, throw them in that bag, shuffle them up, put them back in. But basically, I just pull out of this compartment right here during the game. Same thing with the loot tokens. They all just sit right here. They stack in a way that I really can't see them. Can't see what I'm pulling out. So here, if I do this, they're pretty much all then face down. Here are the panic tokens. Again, they're all just turned face down. There's no reason to stack these up on the board. Same with defense tokens and your potions here. Money is divided up into singles and then 5s and 10s, and that's everything you need. So when you pull the game out, the only thing you're actually having to put out, make stacks of, are the cards. You got to shuffle up the decks of cards and set those out in particular places. But other than that, you put out your 6 trap tokens, but then you don't have to have a pile of trap tokens sitting off to the side. So setup and cleanup is so much easier with something like this. And this is a very easy to find standard style Plano box right here. So again, look in the comment section below for a link to at least this, and I'll try and find a link to that other box I found in Walmart in the arts and crafts section. So let's go ahead and move on to how to set up the game for a solo or 2-player game. Okay, so to set up the game, obviously you lay the game board out, and then it's really just kind of seeding the various areas of the game board with the proper cards. So we're going to start around the outside edge of the board here, beginning with the traps. So the traps, you simply just need to put 6 random traps out. Make sure you're using the the basic traps that have this kind of tan khaki border around them. Your starter trap will always have this leader symbol on it, so you'll know that's the starter trap. And then there's various other traps in here with like the lock symbol, or there's ones with a dark gray banner. Those are used for the trick module. Look at the instruction manual for that. That's got much more of a take that element, so I generally don't play with that. So we have seated the hunter's den here. We don't need to do anything here. And now we need to seed the tavern. Now in a 2-player game, you will be leaving out certain spaces. So up here you actually leave this blank. I'm pretty sure this should be this 3+ symbol, just like the rest of these, not the 2+ symbol. But anyways, we're actually going to be only going to be putting out 3 mercenaries to hire. So we can go ahead and take our novices here, which are all the same, so they can be in a face-up stack, it doesn't matter. And they've got the whatever you want to call this, slingshot symbol on the back. So I usually take my novices and set them up top there. And then you're just going to take the remainder of your mercenaries, shuffle them up, and then put 1, 2, 3 out. Again, if you were playing with 3 or 4 players, you would actually put 4 out here, and the novices would go here, and then your deck of cards would go somewhere else off to the side. So for now, we're just going to put those right there. Fits nicely. For the bazaar, so we don't have to do anything at these 2 locations. For the bazaar, this is where we can buy our items and weapons and things like that. So similarly, you will have these decks of cards, and you will simply put 3 out. It doesn't matter what your player count is. So we'll deal 3 out here, and then I usually just put my board, or the deck, right there. And then the mine is the last thing that's part of the citadel. It does not need anything either. Technically, you are supposed to take these what are these called, riot tokens or something like that, panic tokens, and place them right here in a pile. But especially in the solo game, you don't see monsters over here as often, so I just leave them over here in the storage solution. I can always pull them out. They're face down over here. All right, so then we need to get our monsters and our land out, along with our initial missions and our initial little lane board. And that's pretty much going to do it for setting up the board. There's also an overlay tile here that you could put out that essentially can either make the game easier or harder. You can see this one, which is the trainee side, has no additional dice that are rolled for the monster depending on the round. So this is like easy, this is normal, and then hard mode actually increases the amount of dice that you're having to roll for. So you could lay that out if you want to. Now in the solo game, you're actually only using this land, land A. You don't even ever come over here. So what I tend to do is, first of all, take my lane boards here, you just kind of give them a shuffle, and I stack them up right here. So then I'll take one, I'll flip it over. It doesn't really matter. I flip them over that way. As I'm looking at them, I'm not cheating, knowing what's coming up ahead. Then you're going to take your monsters, and for most games, you simply will just shuffle up the monsters. Especially in the solo or 2-player game, you can just put them up there and flip the top one over. If you were playing a multiplayer game, you would have to have like a draw stack in the middle and just be populating each land one at a time. But there is something I want to note about some of these monsters, is that if you can see right here, there's a little B in the lower corner of this one, whereas below it there is an A. If you are wanting, and if we take a look at these, we can see like this one rolls 3 dice against you, whereas this one rolls 5 against you. In general, these are very comparable monsters, but in general, this one is considered easier to take on or survive against versus this one. So you could remove all the B monsters from the game if you wanted to make the game a little easier. So that's the trainee portion. They say to play that for your first game, to remove all the B monsters and only play with the A side monsters. So we'll simply put these here. These have been randomized, so we'll flip them over. And so you can see that these two are not matching. They don't have affinity with each other. So that's good for us because like Serble here would actually roll 6 dice against you if he was in a fire land, but he's not. So that is good for us. You also take the time tracker here. You'll put it on round 1. I go ahead and take a bunch of black dice when I'm playing solo and put them over here in this land area. And I also take all of the starting leader and mercenary tokens. You can see all of them have these symbols in the lower left here. And I just make a stack of these over here. These are used by the AI anytime they go on a mission outside to simply fill up that lane and block it off for you. That's really their only purpose. All the rest of the mercenary tokens are available for you to purchase, so you don't want to use those. All right. The very last thing we need to do is kind of populate this center area. So right here is the loot. For this area, you'll simply want to take 4 random loot tokens and you'll bring them in, and it doesn't matter where they go. You'll just flip them over. And these have various meanings, but basically anytime you go on a mission and survive but fail, I think maybe actually you can get it even if you don't survive. Anyways, anytime you fail to take out the monster or conquer the land, you get to loot on your way back. Also, sometimes some of the missions allow you to take loot. So these are very big boons, essentially, but you can't just walk up and get them. They don't have like a normal spot. The last thing we're going to do is populate the 2 missions here. So you've got your draw bag here. I don't honestly know why they created a draw bag for the missions. I know that, I guess because they're double-sided, so you can't just create a pile of them. But I would almost have liked a bag for the traps because there's way more traps in the game. But anyways, you pull these out and you always want to put the one with the A side on the left and then the one with the B side on the right. And that's because the A side always has ones where you have to roll dice and you have a level you need to reach in order to be successful on that mission. And this side just simply means you have to bring a certain number of dice and then give up something. So in this case, you would actually have to forfeit a novice. So you have to actually have a novice in your clan, and then you have to give it up, give it back to the stack in order to complete this mission. But you can see it's going to get you 12 gold. They only cost 2 gold, so it's not a bad trade out. But these actually go away at the end of every round and get refreshed. So there is exactly 12 tiles in there. They're double-sided. You're going to see all of them essentially throughout the game. Also, if you're playing solo for the AI, you can go ahead and pull out a red and yellow die unless you have the solo specific dice that came with like the Kickstarter extras. So that essentially is setting up the board. Let's take a look at our hero boards now. Okay, so here we have our hero board ready to go. We have gone ahead and chosen an initial leader and an initial mercenary. You always pick ones with matching affinities. So you can see these guys both have the fire affinity. And so you get to choose your starting pair, but you don't get to mix and match. You also want to go ahead and claim their tokens. Like I said, all the additional ones that we weren't using are being used by the AI. These cards are telling you several things. One is your dice pool that you get to claim at the beginning of every round. So we will get a purple, a red, and a yellow. That's pretty standard that they kind of give you one of each. But we're also going to get an additional red because that is where our glory marker currently sits. You can see as we make it further up the glory track, we will get more and more die at the beginning of the round when we create our dice pool. You'll also get 7 money, and you'll get your initial trap. Like I said before, initial traps always have this leader symbol on them. They're all exactly the same. So you can go ahead and put that in your trap area. You can see we can have up to 5 traps, 3 poisons, 3 healths, and 5 block tokens. However, I'm going to add a few things here because I am playing through the solo scenarios that are included in the game. These kind of change up the rules from scenario to scenario, give you different goals to achieve during each scenario, so they kind of mix things up and keep it different. So you can see here I am getting ready to do scenario number 3, which is called Blitz. So this one actually is only going to last 3 rounds, but I also get to start with 3 defense tokens and 12 coins, and I'm looking to reach one of these 3 benchmarks. Technically, to be successful, you have to get to either veteran or hero. If you get to trainee, you have to redo the mission, and if you don't get to trainee, then you've lost and you're supposed to start back over. But these are just fun little ways to change up the game a little bit if you are playing solo. So I actually get to add 3 defense tokens and 5 additional coins to my player board. Also, my starting leader has the effect that at the beginning of every round I get to gain a health potion. Now, I cannot exceed my maximum of 3 here, but certainly that's a great way to start off the game. This guy here, this section of his card is telling me that when I go outside with him, so if I assign his token to an outside job, either defeating a monster, conquering a land, or on a mission, I get to gain an additional purple die. So I have my dice pool, and then he actually takes an additional purple die with him, and that purple die is going to get +1 to it, whatever I roll on it. So a little bonus there. Also, the starting leader gives me 5 glory points, and your starting mercenary is always going to give you 1 reputation. I'll talk about this more in a little bit, but essentially you have to have a gap between your glory and your reputation in order to hire additional mercenaries. But the goal of the game is to advance your glory as high as possible, technically to this crown level 30 here. That's like the end game scenario, but also 6 rounds is the end game scenario. So but you also want to advance. You don't want to push your glory track up constantly. You're not going to really be able to do that, because to increase your dice pool, increase your engine, you're going to need to hire mercenaries, and so your reputation is going to increase with them. But to win the game, especially in multiplayer mode, when you're just competing against the other players, your score is this combined with this. So you actually want both of these to be as high as possible by the end of the game. Then you're going to get points for combinations of like fire affinity. If you have a big grouping of fire affinity, you're going to get more than just if you had singles of everything. If you had 1 fire, 1 wind, 1 water, and 1 earth, or no, poison or something. I forget what the green one's called. But that essentially is how you set up your player board. So we have gone ahead and set up the game. Again, this is the same for a 2-player game and the solo game, other than setting these tokens aside, the black dice, the black dice would have been set aside, and these 2 dice. So let's go ahead and go through how to play the game real quick. Okay, so I rearranged things just a little bit so we can get everything on camera here. I'm going to briefly go over how you essentially would take a turn. Then I'll show you how the AI takes their turn, and then we'll just kind of continue playing from there. And like I said, this actual scenario is only 3 rounds long, which is kind of nice because it'll be a nice short scenario to show you on video. So first thing you're going to do, and I've already done, is collect your dice pool, which is these 2 dice, this die because we're in this row, and this 1 die. And I went ahead, and you always roll your gold one first. So any gold dice that you have in your possession, you roll out first, because these can be used to kind of bargain at places where you're going to be spending money. So the first thing that I want to do here, I think, is get some more dice on hand. Obviously that's building your engine, and you do that by essentially the biggest way to increase your engine is to go here and get more mercenaries. So you would simply place a yellow or red die here. If you place a yellow die, though, for example, like this, you're going to get a 4 discount on the mercenaries. So if which I'm about to purchase this mercenary here, he's actually only going to cost me 3 money instead of 7. Now, if somebody were to come after me in this location and put a die that has a lower value, they're actually allowed to add the 2 together. So if you're playing multiplayer and somebody places a 3 there, they actually get a 7 discount. So that's a bit of a strategy. It doesn't come into play as much when you're playing against the AI, but the AI will place a die there, they will place a value there, and sometimes you can get away with getting an even bigger discount. But the thing to remember is that A, you always go first playing solo, and B, again, their location is pretty random. So people have griped about that in the solo aspect of the game, how random the solo player is, but I think it works well. So the other options I could have done on my turn as part of my action, I could have gone up here and spent money to purchase any number of traps. Again, if I use a yellow die, I could have gotten that discount of whatever the yellow die was rolled. If I place a red die in any of these locations, I just have to pay full price for whatever I'm buying. I could go here and place a purple die to get, if I'm the first person to place, I can get 3 either poisons or health potions. If I'm the second person, I place 2. Here, again, I can place red or yellow, getting a discount with yellow to purchase either for 2 coins, 1 shield, 4 coins, 2, basically, 2 coins a shield. I can always go here. Any number of people can go here and just get a single coin. This is kind of where you go if you have no place else to go with your dice and you just want to dump them and get a few extra coins. Going here is just like going to the traps and the tavern. You simply place your die and you purchase an item. You can purchase more than one, and if you place the yellow, you get a discount. If you place the yellow after someone and it's smaller, you get to combine the 2. And this last place is the mine, where you have to place red dice. Think of it as like using power to dig into the mine. To get this 6 and the 4, you actually have to place 2 red dice, or you can just place a single one here to get 2. I'm not going to talk about this for right now, but these are all the places that you can go safely in the Citadel. This is like your resource collecting area. You can also, though, as an action, choose to venture out into the lands, either to fight a monster or conquer a land, which would be in this area or this area. But in a 2-player and solo game, you only have one area to go to. Or you can go on a mission. And this mission, the A side, is always going to be one where you have to roll dice to meet a number objective. If you win, you get the top one. If you fail, you get the bottom one. This one is always going to be just bring a certain number of dice, and then you have to sacrifice something, and then you get to choose. This one, if you're the first person to get there and you are successful, it goes away. The second person simply just gets to loot on their way back. This one, if you're the first person to go, you get to choose, and if you're the second person to go, you could still complete it, and you just get whatever's left over. Again, all of this comes into play with multiplayer. The last part that we're going to talk about here is the name of the game, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second. So let's show you how the AI goes. So I went ahead and took my action. To do an action, you have to have a die to place. That's why the more dice you have, the bigger your engine is. And one thing I forgot to do was, as soon as I claimed this mercenary, I actually get these dice. So I've now increased my dice pool immediately, and he comes with a poison and a potion. So I get to add, we'll decide on poison. Okay. So that was my one action. I went to the tavern. I used my persuasion die to reduce the cost of buying a mercenary. I've done my one action. Now we're ready to have the AI take his turn. So for the AI, you're going to roll these 2, a red and a yellow, unless you happen to have the Kickstarter exclusive solo dice, which I don't. So I'm not quite. I know that they basically just have symbols instead of pips. The red die is always going to tell you whether you're staying in the Citadel or you're going outside. 1 through 4 stays in the Citadel. 5 and 6 are going to go outside. So this is a 2, so we're staying inside. The yellow die then tells you where you are going to go once you've decided inside or outside. So this one, 2, is actually just 1, 2. He's just going here. Very simple. If, for example, so let me go ahead and do that so I don't forget. So he takes that first spot. If I wanted potions, poisons, I would have missed out. He's gotten there first. If, however, this had been, say, a 1, and he wanted to go buy traps, so you then would take this die again, or you can take another one if you want to keep, 2 separately. If you were playing with the solo dice, obviously you'd have to get a yellow die out. You go ahead and roll it, and this now means that the AI would have been purchasing something at a forward discount. So that for me means that if I come behind him with another yellow die, and it's a 3, 2, or 1, I can combine them together. Now, you've rolled the yellow die, you've put it there, you have to decide what the AI is going to take. So that's when you look back at the red die here that's already been rolled, and you say 2, the second row. So for the AI, there's always going to be 3 spots that you can fill something, or that you can purchase stuff from. In a 2 and solo game, there's always 3 options. He's never going to buy a novice. So this always goes 1, 2, 3, and then back up to 4. So he always has the greatest chance of purchasing the first thing. So 1, 2, 3. I guess you could go the other way, but I always go down 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. But this would also be 4, 4, 4. So he rolled a 2. Remember, 1 through 4 was keeping him in here. So he rolled a 2. So the AI would have taken out this second row. I'm not doing that because that wasn't his actual roll. Same thing with here. If he had rolled a 3, if I can find the 3, that means he would have been going to the tavern and say this was a 3. He would have re-rolled this. All right, so he would have put that there, and then he would have taken 1, 2, 3. He would have taken that card out. Pretty simple. Any place else he goes, you just put a die there from the supply just to block him out, or to block you out. If, however, he rolls something like a 5, and then say he rolls a 4 on the yellow die. 5 means he's going outside. Then you simply count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. And he was only ever going to occupy this first lane. He just kind of ignores these two. He's never going to send 2 people to 1 mission. So in this case, you would take one of these extra tiles that you set aside, it doesn't matter, and you would send her to number 4. The AI is not going to roll dice. They don't need dice. If no one else were to go here ahead of them, they would automatically take out the monster. If the monster's already been taken out, they automatically take out the land, and they just get discarded, and they bring their person back. If you have already gone and taken out both of them, they just return. They don't loot. They don't do anything like that. Same thing with here. If you had rolled a 5 and a 5, they simply would have gone here. And if they were the first person, that means they're going to complete this mission before you can. So sending someone here only means you're going to get to loot. And then a 5 and a 6 means they would have gone here, and then technically they would take the +2. So you could still go here and get the +12 coins, because they're taking the one on the left always. So that's how the AI positions themselves to block you. You'll see me do that here in a little bit. But let's come back to my turn now. Now that we've had the AI take his turn, I need to decide what I'm going to do. And the last thing I forgot to do with my mercenary over here is you go through and you find his little tile. All of your mercenaries and leaders should have a tile. Your novices will not. All right, so I want to remember, I only have 3 rounds to accumulate as many points as possible. So I definitely need to get out there and do some trapping, killing of monsters. So I am going to, as my second action, I'm going to take Franks here. And Franks is going to go out. And he automatically gets a purple to go with him. All right, because I sent him outside. He gets a purple, and it's going to get a +1 to it. Now, to go into these lanes, for example, this lane, I have to take 2 red dice with me. All right. That was the requirement. The bottom one is optional. So I'm getting a free purple one. I could take another purple one. Let's see. Let me think about that. And so let's look at this card real quick. So I have two options. I can either capture the monster or I can slay the monster. Most people would think that slaying the monster is the harder objective because it has the higher number, but that's not always the case, because to capture a monster, you have to hit that 16 mark, but not go over or meet 18. So you actually can only get a 16 or a 17 to capture this monster. That's why, if you'll notice, you actually get more VP for capturing the monster immediately. Technically, this +2 hide is a victory point at the end of the game. You can trade those in, though, for some missions. So I guess technically killing the monster is worth 7 VP, but I want the money. I want to be able to buy some stuff, and I want the immediate 6 points. So I'm trying to capture him. That means I have to hit on a 16 or 17. So in my opinion, capturing is harder. So in order to capture a monster, you have to take a trap. If you don't have a way to trap the monster, then you're going to have to kill it. So keeping in mind that I'm trying to get to 16, so I'm taking a trap. That trap is going to give me a 4th die, either red or purple. All right, I'm also going to take a defense token, because I have 3, and I'm going to take my health potion. Normally in a multiplayer game, you would put this face down so your opponents can't see what you're bringing to the fight, but in a solo game, it really doesn't matter. Okay, so this is all what I have. I'm not done yet deciding what I'm going to take. Now, since I have chosen this lane, I also get a health potion automatically. That's going to come with me. Anything that's down here is going to get used up no matter what. But anything that's up here that you're carrying with you, if you don't spend, actually comes back with you. So right now, I am able to survive. He's going to roll 4 dice. It's still in round 1, so he doesn't roll additional dice. So he has the opportunity of hitting me 4 times. This is going to block 1, 2, 3, because I have 2 health potions, which I can spend immediately. Worst case, I take 1 hit. He flips over to his wounded side, but he's not dead. He can still finish capturing the monster. So now I have the opportunity. I could also take a poison. You can always take 1 health potion and 1 poison with you. The only way you can get double of something is if the lane gives you the extra one. So I could still take this with me. Right now, to get to 16 with 4 dice, I have to roll a 4 or better on average. I have to roll a 4 on each die. If I take this one with me, that helps mitigate those odds. So I think this is what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to leave this like here, and I'm going to take this poison that I've also been granted, and that's going to be it. That's how, you allocate dice. When you go and fight a monster or conquer a land, it's going to take more dice than you are necessarily prepared for. I mean, more dice than it's going to take. The Citadel just takes 1 die per activity, except the mine. Out here, you're going to use a lot of dice. So I have essentially guaranteed myself that I'm going to get first crack at Serble because I'm on the far left lane. If the AI had beaten me here, I probably would have lost out. I would have automatically lost out to Serble, and I would have had to been going for the land. So that was my second action. Let's go ahead and let the AI go. All right, so he is staying inside the Citadel, and he again is going to location 2. So he's decided that he wants plenty of potions. Now, if he rolls this same combination again, or 1 through 4 on the red die and a 2 again, he'll actually re-roll because this spot is filled. Okay, so it's my turn again. All right, what I am thinking I'm going to do is, and I forgot one other thing. A lot happens when you purchase a mercenary. You're supposed to get their token, you get their dice immediately, but you also have to increase your reputation. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so these 2 numbers are actually tied, which means I have no room to hire any more mercenaries. I would not have been able to purchase him if he had been a +5, because my red star can never go above my blue star. They can share the same space, but they can never go above. All right, so the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to send Frostor out on a mission. Now, by sending him out here, if for some reason I roll poorly here, he can have a second crack at it. I'm assuming that he's going to take care of the monster. I could very barely, I have a slim chance of conquering the land. So I am pretty much going here in hopes that I can come back and actually claim this token right here, which is going to give me a free hire down the road without spending any money, which would be nice. I'm going here because this will allow me to roll a die, but again, 16 on 3 dice, because this is the most amount of dice I have. This is all I can take, maximum. So I think I may actually go here, knowing that my end game is really to get this. So to go here, I have to take 2 dice, either purple or red. So I can say I'm taking this right here, and then I can take an additional 2 purple dice. All right. This one is giving me a shield. The question is, do I want to risk giving up another shield? Because even if I take a shield, it's going to disappear. It's going to get used up. If for some reason Frunks here survives but fails to defeat the monster will then turn its attention to Frostor. And he will attack Frostor. Even though he's been weakened and the damage on him will stay put, if Frostor doesn't survive, then he has no chance of defeating the monster. And again, the monster's rolling another 4 full dice against Frostor. So I think just to be sure, we're going to take this as well. I don't have another trap. So at that point, I would have to say I'm reaching 18 and I'm going to take on the monster, because this trap kind of gets used up, it fails, and it goes away. I believe that's correct. I know that you don't get the additional boons of anything on a trap token. So I'm pretty sure you don't get to carry over the fact that you took a trap. Anyways, so we're going to go there to just in case. If I'd gone here, I may have had a chance to actually get the land, which would have been nice because then I could have paired him with Frostor. But it's only 1 reroll, and sometimes the rerolls can go the wrong way. So this is at least protecting me if all bad things happen, and now I'm guaranteed to get 2 cracks at this. Also, I have spent out all my dice. When you're playing against the AI, you once you have spent your dice, the AI doesn't get a second turn, which I've always thought to be weird, because they go second. But at this point also, there's nothing he can block me from doing. Anywhere around here I don't care about, and I'm not going on any missions or anything like that, so I'm done. Okay. So, first thing I like to do is clear out all the dice in the Citadel, just to get them out of the way. Remember, you claim dice at the beginning of your round, so it doesn't matter that they go back into the supply. You don't have to keep track of whose was AI's die and who was mine. You can just throw them all back in the supply. All right. Normally you would do missions first. There are nobody here, so these missions actually are just going to go away. And we'll refill them here in a second. So now we're going to go to Frunks. At this point, he would reveal his trap. Everybody would reveal their trap. He's going to get this purple die, which can be used for blocking purposes, but I shouldn't need it. And then the monster gets his chance to attack. All right, so the monster's rolling 4 dice. He's hitting on a 3, 4, 5, or 6. So only 1s and 2s miss for him. All right, so here's 1 miss, and perfect. This is going to work out perfectly. So he is hitting for 3. So this is going to block one of them. All right, that goes away. We take away a die. Then he's got 2 potions up here. He's going to go ahead and spend those 2. Boom, boom. And that blocks those 2. Okay, so Franks has survived. He didn't take any damage. Now it's his turn to take all of his dice. Oops. And roll them. Now, you can roll them out all at once, or this is an interesting part that you can actually roll them one at a time. So when you're attempting to hit that trap number, you can mitigate things, and remember I'm getting +1 for my purple die, I do have to use the +1. That's not an option. But I'm going to roll these out one at a time and try and hit 16 or 17. All right, so there's 5. I'm going to go ahead and use my +1 before I forget about it, and this is going to become a 6. All right, so now I'm at 11 total. That would give me 13, so I'm not there yet. All right, so now I'm at 13, 14, 15. So this is very stressful. If I were to roll a 6 or 5 or a 6 on this die, I'm going to kill the monster. I took the trap, but I accidentally hit him too hard and I killed him. It's not the end of the world, but it's not what I'm going for right now. So hopefully this is 4 or less. Okay, so that should get us there. So this is 11, 13, 15. So I'm not quite there, but remember I took this poison token, which I can decide whether or not to spend. This gets me to 17. So I used that up, had to spend all my tokens, which is fine. These dice are finished, and I have now captured. This goes away. That got used up. I have now captured this monster. So I'm going to get to increase my thing by 6, which is going to put me in this new row. So I'm getting an additional yellow die next turn. I'm also getting 12 money, which is big time, big payday, and that's it. I don't get to keep the monster's hide because I'm basically how you can think of this thematically is that you captured him, so you got 6 glory for capturing the monster, and then you sold him for 12 money. Down here, you would have gotten 5 glory for defeating the monster because people like looking at the things, so they don't like so much that you defeated it, but then you're going to get 2 VP at the end of the game for having the monster hide hanging on your wall. So for now, this monster just goes up there off camera. We do not refill that until the end of the round, and I'll tell you why. So Frunks gets to come back, and now it's Frostor's turn. He has no monster to defeat, so unfortunately this token just kind of got wasted, but that's okay. I got extras this turn, or this scenario. So now his only option is to make an attempt on the land. Well, the land doesn't attack, so there's no reason why I wouldn't make an attempt on this land. I have to roll 16 or better on 3 dice, which isn't unheard of, but it's got to be a near perfect roll. Ooh, and I almost got there. Look at that, 15. Unfortunately, I was out of... What's weird is you can take poison with you to help, and you can take trap tokens with you to help boost up your things and use them against the land. But unfortunately, I don't have any mitigations. If I had sent Franks instead of Frostor, Franks would have done it with this roll because he would have bumped this up to a 4. But c'est la vie, it's fine. The whole point really was to come back and get this token right here. All right, so that I get to just spend later on down the road. We will immediately refill with something, and there you go. All right, this bar right here, the lane bar, only gets replaced when the land is conquered and a new land comes out. So that one stays put. Now, at the end of the round, you're going to clean out the citadel. You're going to replace your 2 missions here. So let's see, this one needs to be the A, and this one needs to be the B. All right. You replace your 2 missions. Now you look to see, did a monster survive? If it did, if Serble had survived somehow, he would have been moved down here to attack the citadel directly at the gates. And you would have had to send people here to defeat the monster at the gates in order to keep him from covering up certain locations in the citadel, making them unusable. Kind of like how barricades mode works in ThunderQuest. If there's a monster here attacking the city, they're basically making the options less available. So that's how the citadel works. Otherwise, sending them here works exactly the same. You don't have lane requirements or bonuses though, so you can send as many dice as you want. You get a few bonuses right here, but other than that, attacking a monster down here works exactly the same. If there had already been a monster here and Serble had not been defeated, he would have kicked out that monster and he would have started attacking. That's also when you use the panic tokens. But like I said, in solo mode, it's rare that a monster ever makes it down here. Because in 3 and 4 player games, you actually have 2 monsters that could be out there at the same time. All right, so since no monster needs to be moved down, we've replenished our missions. We can go ahead and flip over our next monster. Now, you'll notice here that these guys have a matching affinity, which means Charybdis here is actually going to be rolling 6 dice against me. So I may actually sit back and let the AI take care of Charybdis. I'm not sure. 6 dice is pretty hard to defend. Although I could come out here and get Wanduo to he's taking 2 shields with him anytime he goes out to attack a monster, and I could put him in this one. That's getting me 3 right there. Anyways, we'll talk about that more here in a second. The last thing you're going to do is move your marker down, and you have to pay your mercenaries. So your payment of your mercenaries depends on how famous they are making you, essentially. So you can see we just inched down here to the second row. So unfortunately, I have to pay my mercenaries 2 per mercenary. So I have 2 mercenaries. My leader does not count towards that payment because he's the leader. He's the one paying out. So I actually have to pay 4 money. We'll do this, make some change, to my mercenaries. If I could not pay them, one of them, Frostor here with the highest reputation, would have mutinied and just abandoned me. He would have quit. All right, so round 2 out of 3, we get to claim our dice. So these 2 for Norandu, these 2 for my level on the glory track. I get a purple here, and then a purple and a red for Frostor. All right, so this is my dice pool. I automatically roll these 2 first. All right, and a really crappy roll for those. So those stay put. These aren't going to matter. These only get rolled when you are fighting or doing missions. Okay. So let's think about this. This is where I wish sometimes that the AI actually got to go first this time. That way I could see, is he going to go out here and make something cheaper? But what I think I am going to do, because I moved up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Remember, I got 6 victory points, and this guy increases my reputation by 6. So I needed 6 exactly to come here, but I've got it. So what we're going to do is go ahead and just use up this token here that just goes off to the side. I get to gain him for free. It's like an instant action. So let's keep him in the frame here. This is not anything. Oh, and I forgot. I get a. I automatically get 1 health. He gets me a choice. I'm also going to take a poison. Okay, so Wandu here is giving me another purple and another yellow. We're going to put the purple there, and we instantly roll the yellow. Well, worst 3 options. All right, and I also need to go find his. There he is. There we go. His token. Okay. Unfortunately, I'm not doing a good job of claiming people all in the same affinity, but that's fine. Okay. All right, here. So, and now I need trap tokens too. So let's go ahead and I guess spend some money on trap tokens. Yeah, I want to save all of these for doing missions and stuff. So I guess the 3 to go up there. And what do I want to buy? See, I could buy this technically for free. You always have to spend at least 1 coin. I could buy 2 and have a guaranteed 1 for my next trap session. I'm doing okay on money though because I didn't have to pay for Wandu. This bumps up here now. Can't forget to do that. So yeah, let's do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm gonna purchase this one and this one. No, these two. Or this one. Which one do I like better? Probably these two. Okay. All right, so I've got 2 traps here. I will instantly replace them. Ooh, I like those. And I have to pay now 6 money because I only spent 9. All right. So there we go. Did my first action. AI gets to go. He is staying in the Citadel, and he is, man, he just likes going to the potion place. Again, that does not make sense. A normal human player would not just continuously go here, but that's how the AI works. So I cannot hire any more mercenaries right now. I have some of these. I got some traps, so I don't need anything over here. I don't really need any tokens unless I'm planning on doing this one, which I'd rather go here. So we're probably going to send Wandu out and maybe Frostor to also conquer the lands, because we're just looking for straight VP here at this point. So what do we need to make sure Wandu is successful? I would love to send a weapon with him, but A, there's no weapons out here. But B, Charybdis here also does not allow weapons against him. He fights in the ocean, which I guess means you have to dive down there, and a sword would be too heavy to swing around. But I can purchase one of these two. Now, I would have loved for the AI to have come here and spent some money first, because my 2 dice stink. So what I'm going to do, just to give him another chance to possibly come out here and change my mind, is I'm going to send Frostor on a mission. So since I took this slot first, he's guaranteeing that he can go there. And I have to take either 2 yellows or 2 reds. So I can take a mixture. I'm going to take my low yellow, which is almost worthless, and one of my reds. And that's all I need to send for him on the mission. Hopefully he can roll a 7 amongst his 2 dice. If not, he's coming back and we'll get something for it. All right. So what do we want to do now? Well, the AI gets to go because I took an action. I placed a dice. So he's actually going out into the wild, and he's going to go here into this spot. So we get to take Timbula here. And remember, they are just now going to that spot. So I have a choice. Do I go after Charybdis, knowing that Timbula will take care of the land behind me, or do I let Timbula take care of Charybdis and I come behind and get the land? Now, the land I could instantly pair up with and give it to Frostor. I say, Frostor, you can settle this land. This is yours. This is your payment. And he no longer needs to get paid, which would be nice, because I could end up being short on money here. So if that's the case, also, like, basically, if I have settled him on it, at any point in time as a free action, I could put 2 dice down here to turn into 3 purple. So it's like gaining an extra die if I needed to. Remember, I only have 1 more round. So what do we want to do here? 16 is kind of a high number. All right. So the AI did not help me out. So I'm actually going to come up here, and I'm going to spend. Do I just want him to be able to spend a lot of extra money? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. All right, so I'm going to spend 3 money to get this Kraken tentacle here. All right, and now I have to assign this to somebody, so I'm going to assign it to Frunks. So So he's going to be able to re-roll 2 of his purples when he goes out into the wild. Okay, so now I refill this right here. And I have technically taken an action, so the AI gets to go. All right, so this is an interesting development. He has decided he wants to conquer everything. So Corgo here is actually going to conquer the monster. Timbula is going to conquer the land, and I have no options to do anything. So whoops, that stays there. What I actually could do now is send people out here, but know that I'm only going to be looting on the way back. If I were to go here, I have to send 4 red or yellow dice, which I don't have. I only have 2 red and then a bunch of purple. So I can't even go on this mission. We're assuming Frostor here is going to, finish that mission off. So let's just send Franks up here. I don't need to send anything else with him. He needs to take at least 2 purple die to go in this lane. And he gets 1 for free, and I had to spend 1 from my thing. So I guess I'm going to be using these to try and get... actually, I'm going to send another guy out there, unless he fills it. So remember the name of this game. All right, so 6 and 3, he's sending another guy out there, but I'm filling up the 3 spots, so we reroll both of these. All right, 1 and 2, which means he is going here again, which is unfortunate because it's going to go there with 1 of my purple dice. But so he is starting to finally block me in ways that make sense for him. Okay, so I am going to send Wandu up here. He's going to take his required 2 red dice. And he's done now too. So he's actually going to get to loot as well. Because there's really not much else I could do with this. I need to save up some money in order to pay these guys. It's going to be 2, 4, 6, which I have. So the AI gets to go 1 more time. All right, 3 and 3, which means he is going here. He's spending 4, and he would go 1, 2, 3. So he'd take this guy. All right, last thing I'm going to do is take these 2, and there's only 1 place I can take them to, and that's here. I don't know if I can place them down all at once, but at this point, there's really nothing the AI can do to block me, so him rolling and putting out more dice would just be a waste of time. You may only be able to put 1 down at a time, and in multiplayer, that may make a difference, but this spot can hold as many dice as you want. And so for now, that's just what we're doing. Okay, so we are ready to start our adventure phase. And like I said before, essentially I've just gone out here for these 2 guys to come back and claim this stuff. But you always do missions first. So Frostor simply has to roll a 7 or better on these dice. I should have just taken that one. And he rolled a 6. So he actually is going to, we're going to have to lose a glory, which means the reputation has to come with it, and then we're done there. Hold on, does he get to, if he is unsuccessful, does he loot? Let's see. Discard the mission tile. Otherwise, the player fails, it suffers the penalty. Discard the mission tile. Okay, it appears that he just failed. So there we go. That wasn't very good at all. All right, this is also going to go away. Then this guy's going to get taken care of. This guy's going to get taken care of, which means this is going to go away. These guys come back. And now these guys are simply giving up their dice. They're returning, and I'll get to loot twice. I do get to choose. How do we want to do this? Probably want the most amount of VP possible. So let's get this, and then I'll get to refill it here. And what do we got? Okay, +3 Tide, which is also VP. So yeah, probably this one, because we're gonna go, you know, no guts, no glory on attacking a monster next round, and try and maximize our VP. It really hurt that the AI jumped ahead of us there. So let's see here. Here's another one. Okay, reroll 3. Okay, so we need to do a few things to advance to the next round. We need to pull out 2 more missions. Boom and boom. Okay, that's not really helpful. We need to give ourselves a new board, give ourselves a new monster combo. Okay, so that doesn't match up. That's good. And then we need to pay. We actually got bumped backwards, so we actually only have 1, 2, 3 coins, which is helpful. Fortunately, though, we're not going to be able to move this at all, and we're also going to be 1 die down, so we're not really going to be able to afford to add anybody to our thing to increase our dice pool, everything else. So yeah, let's just see what we can do here. This guy could get us 7 points, so that's what we're going to be going for. All right. Yeah, this pushes down, so this monster is going to be rolling 5 dice this turn. I have paid everybody. I've refilled everything, so I think we're good. All right. So let me gather up my dice. Okay, so here is our dice pool, and I need to roll out my 2 yellows. Okay, that's not bad. All right. Unfortunately, nothing here really is going to gain me VP. Let's see. I honestly don't know what that symbol means. For Dogor, let's see what Dogor says. There's a really handy thing at the back of the manual that just tells you everything there is to know about everybody. Dogor is a fire, so he's down here. When drawn, place Dogor at the entrance of the citadel, replacing any existing monster. Draw a new monster for the land. So that actually may help us. Okay, so he comes instantly over here, and then so we're gonna have a shot at 2 monsters this time. Okay. All right. So let's see what we can do here. He's going to be rolling. Okay, so if he does there, he panics twice. He's going to be rolling 3, 4. All right, so I want to possibly buy some armor or some spells here to send with some of my guys. All right, so let's go here and buy Mortis first. Yeah, I think that's going to be a good choice. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I'm going to come here. I have to pay 3. 1, 2, 3. And I can claim this, and I can slot it here. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay. And then we replace. Ooh, that's not bad either. I may actually just go ahead and spend that too. Okay. All right, so let's let the AI have a turn. Okay, 1 and 3 is he's staying in, and then he's coming over here. He is putting up that much money and taking this person. But again, I can't afford, because of my reputation and glory being the same, I can't afford any of these guys. So, all right, let's see here. I think I also want to go ahead and buy this, which now I have stacked myself appropriately, and so essentially this is free, but I still have to spend 1 coin. I could actually buy 2 things, but I don't think that's really worth it. So let's buy this, and I'm going to slot it under Frunks. Frunks now has a weapon and a spell. So you can have a weapon and a spell. You could also add an armor, but then that'd be it. Okay, so let's, as long as the guy doesn't go right here, and he only got very close, so he's gonna go right there. Okay, so now let's see here, where do I want to go? That guy's gonna be rolling the most, so let's send Franks up here, and we want him to survive a 4 dice roll. So there's 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I forgot to claim my poison and thing from my characters at the beginning of the round. So I'm going to send him with 1 of each, and then he's going to get a poison for going in this lane. Alright, and so I got to send him with at least 1 red one. He also gets a purple and a red from the supply, and so that, I believe, is the maximum we can send him with. So hopefully he can get to 19. So maybe we want to send him with this. Yeah, we'll send him with this one. Okay. All right. Okay, 1 and 2. So he's again building up his potions. Where do I want to go now? I want to go here. All right, so I'm going to take 1 dude to go right there. And he, what is he going to take? He gets an extra purple one. And then we're definitely going to send him with, let's see. We can send him with whatever we want. So maybe this. So he's getting 2 blocks here, and he's coming with 2 blocks. So he basically gets, he can block just about everything. So he doesn't really need to take anything. He can take a poison though, and he can also take a trap. All right, and there's that. Yeah, I actually don't need. Oh, I got those for free. Okay. That is killing him. I think I can spend this whenever I want. Okay, so I think we're still good. Let's see where the AI is going now. 6 and 6. So he's actually going here. All right, that's fine. He can have that mission. And then do I just go there and risk it, or So I could put these all up and go for the land again, but I don't have any way to really mitigate it. It would get me 5 EP, but I think I need to go for what is more certain. So let's go up here and try this again. Okay, so I got to get rid of 1 more die. 6 and 6. He's going here, so he's going to roll again. 6 and 2. Okay, so yeah, he would have actually snuck in there ahead of me, so that's good. And I don't think, see, I can't just buy VP, so I think we'll just go here and, you know, get ourselves some poison and healing, I guess. All right. So I think that's it. That's all we can do. So this is the final round. Again, we're done with all this stuff, and we will start with the mission here. So I need an 8 or better. All right, I got exactly an 8, so I get +2 V or glory here, and I get 8 coins, which will be helpful to pay everybody in the end. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so this is done, This guy's done. He comes back. Okay, so now we got to survive this. I get 2 extra red dice for my trap. All right, and so I got rid of these black dice too quickly. He's rolling 4 dice on me. And he actually missed on all of them. Look at that. A complete whiff from the crinks. I'm going to need these here in a second. Okay, so I don't need this. And my health potions, I can bring back 1. Oh no, only 1 health potion. Okay, so now I want all the glory. So I'm just going to go for the highest roll here possible. Okay, so I can re-roll my purple die if I want. I'm getting +1 to this one though, so that's pretty good. And +1 to one of these. So that's 9. 11, 12, 14. Oh no. So if I re-roll the purple, then I might get there. We'll say it was cocked. Nope, same result. Okay. All right, so that's 9, 10, 14, and 4 more is 18. So unfortunately, we came just short of obtaining the goal we wanted. So I don't need to spend but 1 of those. I guess technically I could reroll this again, but yeah, same exact result. So I don't think there's anything else. Oh no, wait, I can spend this now. Boom. +6 for defeating the monster. So yeah, I had that for a reason. So we were successful. So we're done with the trap token now. Krunks comes back fully healthy, and we have defeated this guy. We're going to keep this, but this also goes up 6. We needed that. All right, so now let's go down here, and we get an extra purple die from the trap. We basically are blocking all but 1 of these. Okay, and so he hit us 4 times, but he's got 2 blocks. He's getting 2 blocks here, so we blocked it all. Okay, so we got his extra purple die. Again, we're just going for all the glory here, and that's a better roll. So there is a 6. One of these purples gets a +1, so that's 11, 13. Here's 14. Oh no, but that's just 16. I don't have anything else to add to it. That's a shame. Okay, so we are actually just capturing it, so we're only getting 3. 1, 2, 3, and 8 coins. So I'll take a 10, get back change. Okay. But that guy's defeated. These guys would have taken out the land. It doesn't matter though. All right. If I had failed to take him out there, I would have had to put out a panic token, but that didn't happen. Okay, so that is the end of this scenario, particularly. We get to add a few things up here. Essentially, our victory points are very straightforward. It's this number plus this number, and then any combinations of guys we have here. But these 2 are also victory points, so I'm just going to take this and go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, extra money doesn't matter. So I have 25, and 10 is 35. And then I always have to refer back to my score chart here. Here it says scoring a victory, 1 VP for each glory point, 1 VP for each reputation point, 1 to 3 VPs for each eliminated according to the trophy value, which I did, and then count the number of affinity icons. So I have 2, which unfortunately is just 1 VP, and then 1 here and 1 here. So 3 more. So 1, 2, 3. So unfortunately, just 38, which if we look back, puts us very close to have reaching that 40 point threshold there. What really did us in was that we didn't get any VP in that middle round. unfortunately. So we still are successful. We still get to move on to scenario 4. Trainee, you'd have to redo it. Monster fodder, you'd have to start over. But we got veteran pretty easily. Almost got hero. So pretty good. Again, I really enjoy that they have included this just kind of different ways to play each game. This just spices it up just enough that playing multiple solo games in a row does not feel like you're just repeating the same thing over and over again. But I do enjoy the solo mode in general. I'm gonna post a short full and honest review on this game very soon, so I'll tell you all about it then. But for now, just know that I did enjoy this session. Hopefully you did too. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.